Oh, okay, you're live, no?
Hi people, article, and this is the main article. Some time ago, we all heard about Grenfell Tower. People were burnt to death. We know it was an act of murder. The point that I'm getting to is that the time has come. It's now the time. It's totally exposed so many things. It's shown us the lack of empathy, lack of compassion, the lack of sympathy, the lack of consideration, the lack of reasonability by all the people involved in this atrocious crime. It is the time now. We've reached that point in life. It's a serious moment in life. We've seen all the wars, we've seen all the chaos, we've seen all the destruction, we've seen all the horror. This is a horror movie that's actually happening and unfolding before our eyes. Many of us are walking around totally asleep, blinded, caught up in a delusional state, almost in a social psychosis, not realizing what's really happening because we're so totally focused on all the things that are distracting us, our attention away from what the real issues are. We need to take stock of the situation. We need to take a look at ourselves. And more importantly, we need to unify. We need to come together because there are a group of people who are making life extremely difficult and extremely uncomfortable for everybody else on this planet. We are here on planet Earth. This is how serious it is. Where else are we going to go? There is nowhere else to go. We're here. We're supposed to be living a full, rich, rewarding life in love, in cooperation, in unity, and in harmony with each other. But what we're faced with is total chaos and destruction, total social disturbances, and everything that we're seeing is an exposure, and the exposure is becoming totally blatant. It's become a way of life that everybody doesn't seem to really see. They cannot see that this way of life is destructive. It's a constant violation to our human rights. It's a constant state of enforcement, victimization, intimidation, humiliation, oppression, exploitation, and manipulation. We're in it. That's what we're actually looking at. And we need now to realize the seriousness of where we are, because potentially we're all in danger. And we need to take stock of the situation because it's the 20th century, 21st century, I should say, 2017. And that's how serious it is. And people are walking around as if normal, as if life's just normal every day, without actually seeing the urgency and to act in earnest of impending doom, potentially destruction. Something's happening out there. We've seen the massive exposure, and I do want to focus on, and I want to come back to the fact of what's actually happened at Grenfell Tower. And it's those people who are in my mind and who I'm thinking of now. They are the ones who have lost their lives and their loved ones, and those who they have left behind, homeless, with nothing left, looking for compensation, looking for solace, looking for comfort, looking for support to give them some hope about the future. We've got people who sat in the House of Commons on Wednesday, which they call the Day of Rage, but it wasn't a day of rage. It was a day where everybody marched down from Shepherd's Bush to Parliament to let them know what they felt like concerning or in the aftermath of the Grenfell burning. It's something that really sort of resonated with me. It really touched me to the point whereby I felt the need to go down there and just let my presence be felt and be part of the unity of that crowd. It's a sad time. It's a strange time out there on the streets. There's something happening, and whether or not people realize it, we're heading towards something that potentially many thousands, if not millions of people don't even realize is coming at them. I think on that note, I'll bring this to a close, and I want to say that all the leaders in Parliament, for instance, people like David Lammy, other leaders from the African community, this is a very critical time. It's a critical time to actually look at exactly what has taken place, and it's time to take action to bring about the end to this type of system that's running. It's clearly a seriously warped and seriously crazy. There's many words that you can choose to describe this type of system. It's a violation. It's a constant scene and experience of enforcement that is just totally unacceptable and inappropriate, because we are all human beings living on the surface of planet Earth, and nobody needs to be in a situation where they're in constant demand to make payments of money. And this is what it seems to be all about, and that's what makes it so pathetic. It is the leaders, it is the people that we consider to be, or we look up to as leaders.
Can you mention about the Sevengate crime ring and the importance of people flagging it up?
I've been speaking with my friend Charles Seven, and who I've known for some time, and the mention of the Sevengate crime ring, which is a global, that what it seems. I'm aware of what's happened to Seven, and I'm aware of the people, and these are the people who we could say are involved in what's happening and what people are suffering. It's extremely deep. It touches deep. It goes deep.
So what do you think people should do about it?
That's a very good question. I think people should be aware. They need to wake up to the reality. Many people are sleeping. They don't seem to understand what's going on, because we've got so much huge distractions all around us all the time that we can hardly see, beyond, the next gadget that's coming out of the iPhone shop. We're focused on all the things and all the trends, the going trends and the fashions that are being thrust and rammed down our throat.
So do you think that people should investigate Sevengate, or how are they going to find out about it?
Good question. I think it should be investigated, but it's going to take the people who are almost taking part in a process that is designed by them without even realizing that they're in it. So it's a very difficult thing. I think if you have in your heart, if you have any ounce of truth or integrity, any ounce or any passion for truth, any passion to put right wrong, to put wrongs right, I should say, any passion to embark on a full-scale war of light against darkness, of good against evil,
yes,
then that's when this thing is going to be turned around.
Right. So basically, we need to expose the crime ring. We need to send a message, because they send their messages, their satanic messages, through the movies. And so we have to use our platforms to get the message out. So what do you think about all this Grenfell coming out on the movie High Rise? There's so much media. You can see there's the Dark Tower, the characters called Lord Grenfell. You know, what do you feel about the use of media in this perverse manner, where they're murdering people in real life, and then they're putting the murders that they're doing to sell entertainment shows, to mock people in their face? What do you feel about that?
It's a classic case of hidden in plain sight. A classic case of that, because it attracts the public, and the public gravitate towards it. And when they gravitate towards it, they think it's entertainment. Little do they realize that this is the reality of a horror show that they're actually living through.
And participating in as an audience. So it's a very almost bewitching, almost spellbinding type of condition that people are in. Yes,
they do not realize what is actually happening. And the thing is, just like a psychosis, when you don't realize what's happening to you, you're going to go through the motions of carrying out those actions on a daily basis without even realizing it.
So tell me, what do you think should happen now? Now we know that the Housing Association Management Company is in connection with KCTMO, the managers, and we know that it's not an isolated thing, because you go up and down the country, the same cladding is there. Now, obviously, we have a problem now with these very people that are intended to kill people are now having to go back into people's properties to remove the cladding. So I would suggest for people personally, I want to see what you feel about this, but I personally would suggest that people have to be very wary when they let these people into their houses. Because that could be another guise, oh, we have to take the cladding off, and then you don't know what else they're going to do. So you have to make sure that you get set up somewhere else. I mean, to be honest, the main focus is to shut the crime ring down. That's what the emphasis should be on, and putting these people behind jail first and foremost. If it had been anybody else, they would have been in prison long time. So what do you think about that, brother?
Yeah, I think, like you said, I think shutting down the crime ring, having these people arrested, pursuing them rigorously, that has not been happening.
At all.
But more importantly, because we're at such an important time in this life, it is time for these oppressive systems of exploitation to come to their final end. They have run their course.
Exactly.
These systems are running, and they are exploiting people all around the world. It's time for it to come to an end. And if it's a case whereby people are getting off on horror, getting off on bombing people in their homes, getting off on seeing young men, women and children being blasted to smithereens, being burnt out, being shot down dead in the street, having buildings fall upon them, you know, chaos, bombs going off, bombs being dropped from the air, germ warfare, chemical, biological warfare against people, all this vile, horrific type of terrorism. This seems to be a commonplace fixture in the world. That's why these systems need to stop. It's almost as if it's almost like capitalism. It was created, and it's a machine now that's running by itself. It's doing destruction and damage, and it's out of control, like a train with no driver running down the tracks, out of control. So, you know, it needs to be pulled and hauled back up. It needs to be halted abruptly and brought to its final end.
Okay, so what do you think about the fact that people are trying to push this corporate
manslaughter, negligence angle. In your opinion, do you think this was negligence, or do you think this was out?
No, I don't think it was negligence, and I say that based on the response from the government. It cannot be negligence based on the response from the government, because there has been no sense of anybody coming out, rushing out eagerly to make sure that everybody's okay.
They didn't even put out the fire, did they? They had 2 little hoses, not even a bucket of water, garden hoses, more or less, that they had. They didn't even get 3/4 of the way up.
It's totally unacceptable. And the thing is, it is totally upsetting. It's very distressing. It's a distressing thing. And there's one thing that I've learned about death, is that there is a karmic energy that dwells in a place where people die. The more horrific the death, the more dark the karmic energy that's left in that space. So there is a very disturbing karmic energy that's left right there. And when that building's taken away and gone right down to the ground, it deserves to be a place of homage, a place to come and pay your respects, where it should be specifically designed with an endless, with a continuous flame, in memory of those people who died for no reason. They died for nothing. They died purely for the selfishness and the greed, or whether it was a sacrifice for extremely selfish people. And then it tells you, this begins to demonstrate, we're dealing with a particular type of greed and selfishness here. That is a serious type of selfishness that's really going on there. And if you go beyond selfishness and then you go into like wickedness and real dark evil, that's what we're touching on right here. That's what it is. But on that note, I am going to bring this to an end, because I found the whole experience of going down to the vigil at the Tower and actually marching down to Parliament on the so-called Day of Rage. But it wasn't a day of rage, it was people venting their feelings and letting it be known how disgustingly and appalling this way that the so-called people that we look up to were dealing with the matter. And on that point, I'm going to leave it right there.
Okay, can I just ask you one more question before you go? What do you think should happen to those people who have done this? The people, the terrorists, the satanic terrorists that have done this, the Seven Gate crime ring. What do you think should happen to them? What do you think should be done today, tomorrow, in the short future?
They should face the full weight of retribution for this. They should face the full weight of justice. They should face the full weight of every kind of punishment that is required.
Do you think they should be arrested immediately?
Well, the thing is, arrest is going to be the first point, that they are arrested and they are put into custody, and then they are held to account.
Yeah. So, do you think resignation is good enough, or?
We're not talking about resignation.
Yes.
We're not talking about, because if you are arrested and put into a prison awaiting sentence, there's not a question of resign, because you're not in your job no more.
Yes.
So you're basically, your life is basically, they should be doing life in prison.
Yes, if not hanged. I'm calling for death sentences personally.
Well, I think, like I said, they should be on the receiving end of
what they give.
The full weight of any measures to make sure that they are held to account.
Fully. And I want to say this as well, because all the people that they killed, they're given death sentences. They're going around producing death sentences for people that have done them no wrong, who've done nobody nothing. So they deserve to get back what they give. And so on that note, my brother, thank you so much for your interview. Let's hope that the people recognize that they have to chime in. If the people want to get information on the Seven Gate crime ring, You can go to Everyday Concerned at everydayconcern.net, or you can go to newsinsideout.com/7gate, or you can go to solutionariestvnetwork.com, or you can go to solutionariesmedianetwork.com, and that's SOULUTIONARIES. Now, how can people get hold of you, brother? If they want to send you a line or...
Well, I mentioned a few things on a few networks on Wednesday, and just check out YouTube and tune into the so-called Day of Rage, but it wasn't a Day of Rage, like I said. It was